In the game of war, the evil side always resort to recruiting from any source as long as the soldier or henchman is strong enough to carry the weight of the weapon and equipment. Secondly, as long as they can be molded into believing anything the manipulator wants them to be. This dual combination makes for the most volatile, unquestioned, and unpredictable violent soldiers ever. Brainwashing youngsters, children, teens are the biggest forms of manipulation to recruits done to strengthen the cartel's efforts. Welcome to the channel, to the world of everything related to the global underworld. Let's learn more by diving in. Ready? Let's go. A new report details how Mexican drug cartels utilize kids as young as 11 to carry out their homicidal orders, in case you thought that they had descended to their lowest possible level. The International Crisis Group recently noted that over the past 10 years, the cartels have recruited thousands of street gang members, school dropouts, and unskilled employees. A non-governmental organization called the International Crisis Group observes that many of these recruits, to use a crude term, are under the age of 18, viewed as expendable, and purposefully commanded to fight stronger Mexican military units. The organization reportedly spoke with military officers who claimed that the cartel lords would use the young killers as cannon fodder, sending them on suicide strikes against security personnel. First, the youngsters are persuaded or duped into joining the cartels, and then they are instructed in the use of rudimentary weaponry at training camps, many of which have been found in the forests near the Guatemalan border. There are several different types of firearms, including AR-15 rifles, Uzi submachine guns, and pistols in the 38 and 9mm calibers. The children are then placed in cells overseen by seasoned cartel members who have previous law enforcement or military experience. We will go on patrol and face an ambush by these young youngsters who don't even know how to shoot, a lieutenant colonel in the Mexican army warned the ICG. The soldiers had no choice except to retaliate by shooting at kids, and they are proficient shooters. The officer declared, when you have disciplined soldiers, they will prevail in these shootouts. However, it's also possible that the soldiers are being held up while the bad guys are transporting drugs or committing murder somewhere else. They also want to demonstrate their power to the populace by assaulting the army. The killers are supplemented by lookouts, or hawks, to increase their grip in towns controlled by cartels. The lookouts, who are outfitted with telephones or radios, are placed at distances of 2 or 3 city blocks, just like in American cities. If the military or police enter a location, it is their responsibility to alert other cartel members. The officer explained to ICG that when they see us coming, they change course. One of the more unsettling cases is that of Edgar Jimenez Lugo, also known as El Ponchis. Due to the maximum juvenile sentencing regulations, he was found guilty of many killings for the Beltran Leyva cartel at age 15 and given a 3-year sentence in a juvenile prison while the case was widely publicized in the Mexican and international news. Adrian Ivan Pizana, 22, who was accused of killing people, was recently detained on a murder accusation related to drugs. After being found guilty of 7 gangland homicides as a teenager, Pizana had previously served time in a prison center. Pay is also subpar. A murder may only be worth $78. However, other murderers can earn between $390 and $468 every 2 weeks, whereas a regular employment could only pay $298 per month. Although the cartels treat the children with indifference, there is a structural reason why so many young recruits come in. The group conducted interviews with social professionals who claim that the government and families' neglect is the cause of the rise in child murderers. Juan Pablo Garcia, a social worker from Monterrey, said to the group, "There is no job to be had and no opportunities because the schools are closed. The offenders on the opposing side call out, 'Come here, there is employment for you,' specifically murdering and harming other people. However, the murderers are also victims." 2020, following a fatal attack attributed to a drug cartel, roughly 20 children were enlisted for an indigenous community police force in western Mexico. In the town of Chilapa, in the state of Guerrero, some of the kids, who ranged in age from 8 to 14, were given weapons while others marched down the street carrying sticks. 10 native musicians were ambushed and slain last week while they were leaving a party. Gang violence is rampant in the area, and many people established their own police. According to the organization that represents the local indigenous people and goes by the Spanish letters CRACPF, the kids were being taught how to protect their village from attacks by criminal gangs. Shooters opened fire on the car carrying the Sensación Musical ensemble as it was leaving a concert they had performed the day before. More than 20 children lost their fathers. According to reports, several of the boys are the sons of the murdered musicians. The crime has been attributed to a gang known as Los Ardillos. The gang has previously attacked indigenous communities. According to local media, the action was intended to convey to Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador a message on the dearth of security personnel in the region. In order to deal with the cartels, the president has chosen a nonviolent strategy and is implementing a program known as Abrazos No Balazos that aims to reduce inequality, control over the pathways via which traffic goes to the Pacific and other regions of the country. In order to dissuade the criminal gangs from operating in a region, citizens formed vigilante organizations in many rural areas of Mexico. Mexico's Tijuana, during his first semester of high school, Juan was recruited by a drug gang at the age of 15 to sell methamphetamine. Less than a year later, more experienced cartel members delivered to him a gun and images of a rival cartel member who was conducting drug sales in their territory. Juan claimed that although it wasn't his first cartel killing, he felt different from the rest and didn't want the other students to know what I did after school after becoming a full-fledged sicario or assassin. Normal. Nobody knew anything. Not my family, not anyone, Juan said in an interview with Vice World News at Tijuana Youth Center. The Network for Children's Rights in Mexico, REDIM is its Spanish acronym, published a new study in September that predicted that by 2019, 30,000 children would already be working as lookouts, low-level drug dealers, or sicarios for the cartels, and another 250,000 would be at risk of being recruited. This recruitment heightens the harm that Mexico's ongoing bloodshed poses to children. According to Redim, between 2000 and 2019, there were 21,000 child murders in Mexico. However, adolescents are frequently the ones firing the gun for organized crime, not only appearing in the crosshairs. Over the years, the Mexican government hasn't done much to prevent children from joining organized crime. Although it's unclear what actions have been done thus far, the government established a national observatory in the spring of this year to address the problem. The state of Baja California established a military academy on the outskirts of Tijuana with plans to grow in order to address the issue on its own, and regional organizations opposing sicarization rely on contributions, foreign funds, or just plain grit to carry out their missions. This is especially important in Tijuana, where the Sinaloa Cartel, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, and the remaining members of the Arellano Felix Cartel are engaged in a street war over the sale of methamphetamine and heroin laced with fentanyl. With the biggest number of fatalities in Mexico between 2018 and 2020 as a result of these conflicts, Tijuana has become one of the deadliest cities in the nation. After his father abandoned the family due to his meth addiction, Juan claimed he joined a cartel. Juan implied that he had committed further murders while only being found guilty of one. He claimed that the cartel gave him a weekly salary of about $250. Depending on whether he operated alone or with accomplices, he received a bonus of $500 to $750 for each event, a nebulous term he uses to refer to murder. Juan believed that because they served shorter sentences, the cartel was using him and the young hitmen in his cell as his assassins. Virginia Acosta, a psychologist who has worked in a youth facility in Tijuana for the past 29 years, has observed how the escalating violence caused by the drug war has impacted teenagers she sees. She said that they had once engaged in drug use and minor crimes. Murder and drug sales are now prevalent. In the world of organized crime, the next generation is already being groomed for leadership roles. Cartel kids, often born and raised in environments surrounded by violence and illegal activity, are being trained to take over the family business. They may be young, but they possess a level of street smarts and savvy that should not be underestimated. These kids are being groomed to be ruthless leaders who will stop at nothing to protect their family's interests. They may be small in size, but their impact on the criminal underworld is far-reaching and dangerous. Don't be fooled by their age. Cartel kids are a force to be reckoned with. Don't underestimate the power of a cartel kid. They may be young, but they're more dangerous than you think. Thank you for watching. Follow for more.